Well, here I am at the Centre for Science and Policy in Cambridge. It's my first day. I've just arrived on a pretty early train and I'm about to start having my intro and also get into having the interviews. Hi, well, I've had the first morning of my policy fellowship. I've seen two people. I was going to say what they'd said, but I realised that there may be some confidentiality issues. So instead, I'll just give a general gist. I think that the three things I've taken from the morning, one is about taxing the bads, not the goods. It's an old story, but if we could move the burden of taxation from income and employment onto pollution, then actually there's quite a nice political story to sell there. You could market that, and at the same time we could free up lots of money for making the transition to a sustainable future. So that's one thing. Second thing, just how important population growth is, and every time we shave a little bit off that growth, we make things a lot easier for ourselves. And then the third thing, really about the opportunity of solar. So if we can take solar to scale and have it replace existing fossil fuel sources of energy, then really it's a win-win. So that's the things I take from this morning. Now, this afternoon, my next round. Well, I've now had my first afternoon and seen some more people in and around Cambridge. Some of them academics, actually many of them outside of academia, so working in the NHS, working in incubators of disruptive entrepreneurs and other things. I guess my reflections from this afternoon, firstly, the science of climate change truly is scary. If we're going to stand a 50% chance of avoiding 2 degrees of warming compared to pre-industrial levels, then we need to be able to turn the ship around. We need to have peak emissions in 2020 and then have 4 to 6% reductions every year after that. The longer we wait, the sharper the decline afterwards has to be, and really it doesn't feel very likely that we're going to have peak emissions in 2020, which points to the second thing, the importance of a framing narrative that people find enabling. Telling people we're not going to make it isn't very useful, and some sort of alternative is required. I think the other sort of thing is whether a health narrative, something about if we give people and help people generate healthy lives, the co-benefit, the almost side accidental thing that happens is a more sustainable future. So maybe we should focus on health as the way of getting things done. And then finally, just how enlivening it was to speak with some people working and really at a hub of an incubator, and the way in which they're using a different sort of organisational form, an industrial providence society, so something that's charitable, that's not for profit, as a way of generating more change. So that's it from this afternoon so far. Next up is High Table at Pembroke, and then sleeping, definitely sleeping.